It's February 6th, and for many across the world, it's a day to recognize and celebrate the birth of musical legend Bob Marley, or the Gong. Today's magazine comes to you from the place that gave birth to a number of his popular hits that continue to resonate with so many today, the Tough Gong Recording Studio. Jamaica, wagwan. Welcome to Jamaica Magazine. We're about to take you on an ira journey filled with positive vibrations as we celebrate the legacy of Bob and unfold the elements of today's show. Do stay with us.
Let's get a little breeze on this land. All right. Now let's get some bounce in the rhythm. All right. Let's get some fire on our hearts. Now that is what we call all right. Run, come, get some Jamaica.
Good day, I'm Theodore Henry, and this is your GIS News for Wednesday, February 6. A plastic bottle deposit refund scheme is to be operational between April and June this year. Minister without portfolio in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation, Darrell Vaz, made the disclosure during yesterday's sitting of the House of Representatives. Customers will receive $1 for every plastic bottle returned. The private sector-led scheme will start with an initial one-year investment of $850 million to project managers, Recycling Partners of Jamaica Limited. Minister Vaz says the money will be used to launch an expanded public education campaign, establish plastic bottle collection points, and buy trucks. The refund scheme is expected to improve collection rates of plastic bottles to 85% over the next 4 years.
The government will monitor the implementation of the deposit refund scheme to ensure accountability and transparency, and if deemed necessary, promulgate legislation to govern the scheme. Unrefunded deposits will be used to maintain the deposit refund scheme, as well as to provide support to the National Solid Waste Management Authority in its effort to improve the island's waste management infrastructure.
In the meantime, Minister Vaz is urging the public to submit any queries, suggestions, or comments about the implementation of the ban on single-use plastics to policyonplasticban at nepa.gov.jm or call 876-285-8531. 50 companies within the micro, small, and medium-sized enterprise MSME sector will be getting support to boost their productivity and competitiveness. The support is being facilitated by a Memorandum of Understanding between the Jamaica Productivity Center, JPC, and the Jamaica Promotions Corporation, JAMPRO.
The JPC will work with 50 export-ready firms for the next 3 years under the JAMPRO Export Max 3 program. The objective is to build their capacity and productivity skills.
The Labour and Social Security Minister was addressing her ministry's recent quarterly media briefing. Export Max 3 is a program of JAMPRO designed to enable MSMEs to take advantage of market opportunities and increase their export of non-traditional products. Meanwhile, more Jamaican spirits and rum professionals will be trained and certified to better deliver local brands to customers. The Tourism Ministry will be working with local entities such as Appleton Estate to develop the cadre of professional bartenders.
And to that extent, the Jamaica Center for Tourism Innovation that we established last year is already partnering with Appleton in terms of the bartendering and the training program for bartenders.
The Tourism Minister was speaking at yesterday's launch of Jamaica Rum Festival, set for March 9 and 10 at Hope Gardens in St. Andrew. He says the festival will broaden Jamaica's visitor appeal and increase the island's 42% repeat visitor arrival.
This festival is a product. And it is a product that will join the Coffee Festival and the Cocoa Festival, which is coming. And we're going to be looking at other commodities over which Jamaica has some level of comparative, and to use those to leverage the experiential tourism that we're marketing.
Government has increased the variety of local fresh fruits and vegetables provided under the National School Feeding Program. This has resulted from the 47% or $4.7 billion increase to the program's budget in the 2018-2019 fiscal year.
Our mission is to promote proper nutrition and improve the learning outcomes of our children, as well as to strengthen early childhood development in keeping with the Food and Nutrition Security Policy, the Draft School Feeding Policy, and the Jamaica Social Protection Strategy.
Agriculture Minister Audley Shaw was speaking at last Friday's official launch of Mission Food Possible at the St. John's Primary School in St. Catherine.
We have to make eating Jamaican part of our lifestyle. We must support our local farmers and businesses by making eating Jamaican a part of our lifestyle.
Jamaica Day 2019 will be officially celebrated at the National Arena in an effort to achieve greater inclusion and participation. This will be the first time the national celebration will be hosted outside of a school campus since the event was initiated in 2011. The news was revealed during the recent launch at Hope Gardens by Marlon Williams, chairman of the Jamaica Day Planning Committee.
Schools will still host, in their individual schools, a ceremony. However, each school will be required to send 10 students to the national arena, accompanied by the school's culture agent and other members or another member of staff.
He adds that ministries are required to participate in the Best Decorated Building competition by decorating their buildings using the Jamaican colors.
A team from the Jamaica Day Planning Committee will be visiting these buildings during the week of February 11 to 15 to judge and take pictures.
The winner of the competition will be announced at the National Arena on Jamaica Day. Jamaica Day 2019 is being celebrated on February 22 under the theme Celebrating Jamaica, Embracing Positive Values, Visioning Inclusive Education for a Better Jamaica. This year's event will culminate in a grand concert under the tagline, Put Some Pep in Your Step with Love and Respect. And finally, government will reveal its development plans for the 2019-2020 financial year when the estimates of expenditure are tabled in the House of Representatives. Finance Minister Dr. Nigel Clarke will table the estimates on February 14 following the ceremonial opening of the new parliamentary year earlier in the day. The Senate and Lower House will be prorogued on February 13 to make way for the new session of Parliament. After it's tabled, the estimates of expenditure will be reviewed by the Standing Finance Committee of Parliament from March 4 to 5. Minister Clarke will then open the budget debate on March 7. Opposition spokesman on finance Mark Golding will make his contribution on March 12, followed by Leader of the Opposition Dr. Peter Phillips on March 14. Prime Minister Andrew Holness will give his budget speech on March 19, and the Finance Minister will close the debate on March 20. That will pave the way for the Senate to debate the budget on March 22. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Theodore Henry. Thanks for watching.
The history about Tough Gang Recording Studio. It was once federal. Back in the days, there were 3 main recording studios. You have Federal, Dynamic Sound, and Studio One. The Marley family purchased Federal, and then they name it Tough Gang Recording Studio. Worldwide, Tough Gang is known as one of the best acoustic studios. And in the Caribbean, it is one of the largest recording studios.
And now a look at why the UNWTO's second global conference is so important to the development of small and medium tourism enterprises.
It was a full day of tourism-based discussions, with major players determining the best way to ensure global tourism benefits small and medium enterprises. The second Global Conference on Jobs and Inclusive Growth, Small and Medium Tourism Enterprises, SMTEs, was born out of the first Global Conference on Jobs and Inclusive Growth held in Jamaica in November 2017. It unfolded again on our island paradise on January 29, 2019, from morning into the night. The formal ceremony went underway with international and local dignitaries all pledging to ensure businesses derive as much as possible from global tourism plans and policies.
80% of global tourism is owned by the small, micro, and medium enterprises and entrepreneurs. But 80% of the returns from tourism go to the 20% of those who invest heavily in it. This very special and momentous conference that is going to help us to do two things. One, to define a path that will enable the vision and indeed the promise of inclusiveness from this great industry of tourism to find a way to be realized. And secondly, for us to look at how we could bring ideas and capital together to create that synergy that enables the transformation from concept and ideas into material goods and services.
When we speak on the necessity to promote tourism, investments in tourism, we need to link it with social cohesion.
For tourism to be sustainable, it has to work for everyone, including our farmers and our entrepreneurs and our entertainers. In light of an expanding tourism and hospitality market, we support every effort to make the industry a truly inclusive one.
The remainder of the day flowed with various breakout sessions back to back. Key players pulled seats together to share success stories and lessons learned within the industry. Jamaica's own Minister of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sport was also a part of the breakout sessions.
This is a great opportunity for our entertainers or individuals who are involved in the arts and in craft. This is an opportunity for us to discuss how we are going to further enhance their participation within the tourism landscape.
There was also a call for contributions from the Ministry of Tourism's Linkages Network.
In a nutshell, there are a lot of programs that we do, all geared towards ensuring that the SMTE benefits, all geared towards ensure that the SMTEs take advantage of the programs. We also have a loan facility in which we have put $1 billion in Exim Bank, and we have another facility that we put in JN. The Exim facility looks at loan between $5 million and $25 million. The JN for those that would want $3 million and less. And those are at ridiculous interest rate, talking about 4.5%.
The conference also saw the Organization of American States, OAS, launching a $500,000 project to build the resilience of Caribbean SMTEs to disasters.
It is well known that the Caribbean is among the most tourism-dependent regions in the world. At the same time, there is no other region whose travel and tourism industry is as vulnerable to disasters as the Caribbean.
The project to start this year will be executed over 2 years. It is funded by the United States Department of State and managed by the OAS Secretariat for Integral Development. By close of conference, it was clear tourism must be inclusive. And to ensure this happens, large entities, financiers, and other groups must play an active role.
I think today we have tried to look at a broad spectrum of areas of convergence that need to come together to create the atmosphere and also to create the capacity for small and medium enterprises. We also have to look at how to create within communities the social framework that will enable this to thrive. The requirement of public policy in building out that capacity.
So many wish they could visit our shores. We live where they vacation. Brand Jamaica beckons all from the four corners of the earth.
Well, as a Jamaican, I have great pride in selling it. You know, your pride that you sell Jamaica with is something that it rolls off. Jamaica has so much to offer, and every time I have the privilege of bringing an executive down to Jamaica, an executive from an airline or a tour operator or a travel agency, and you take them across the country, you know, the pride that they said, wow, I can't imagine, especially when it's their first time. Wow, I love this.
Build it. Cherish it. Our wealth is Brand Jamaica.
Here in Tuffgang, I've worked with Julian, Damien, Steve Marley. I've worked with Gentleman. I've worked with Snoop Dogg, Alpha Blondy from France. I've worked with the Royal Family, Morgan Heritage, Capleton, Bushman, Junior Kelly, Taurus Riley, and many more.
Here are some more of our musical greats partnering with the Ministry of Tourism, imploring more persons to join in the iriness of our island.
Living in Jamaica is an experience that you cannot put in words. There's an energy in the atmosphere that just feels good. There are so many aspects of Jamaica that I think makes it second to none. The best food, the best music, the best people. We can go on and on about the good things about living in Jamaica.
The prolific artist is one of 9 faces selected by the Jamaica Tourist Board to beckon visitors to join them in the home of all right. The Jamaica Tourist Board is banking on the reach and popularity of social media to go where they have never gone before. To connect with potential visitors, hopefully to convince them to book a trip to the island based on the stories of these personalities who will pop up on their timeline. The hashtag Join Me in Jamaica digital marketing videos, each about 90 seconds, are disseminated via the Tourist Board's social media platforms.
Come out and meet us, come out and experience what Jamaica has to offer.
The Songbird and Dancehall Prince join the likes of the Coffee Expert, the Sister Cooks, the Hotel Chef, the Puddin' Man, the Rasta Artist, and the Entrepreneur.
And as we started kind of working on this and coming up with some ideas, and Join Me in Jamaica evolved, we settled on that because it's a great call to action. But it's deeper than that. It enables the people we talk with to say, why join me in Jamaica?
Name them all. Being a man, they all come here and buy their pudding. This is what we grew up on. Now, when the people come to Jamaica, everybody, as soon as they land off the plane, this is where they come. They want to taste this pudding because it's bringing them back to the old days.
You talk about scripting things or putting things together and you hope for words and magic, and then you try to get somebody to deliver that line. It's just not real. But when we hiked to the top of Blue Mountain in the rain, to the top, we sit there and talk to him and his face lit up and his smile was just so infectious, and all of a sudden he comes out with, God has been good to us. The universe has been good to us. This rock, I love it.
I love it.
These videos will now populate our social space, and we'll be able to have connectivity to every corner of the world. And the language part of it, yes, we've worked on, and the technology allows instant translation.
It doesn't mean that we will not do traditional advertising anymore. Because if that is in anybody's mind, then we need to disabuse ourselves of that. In anybody's mind, then we need new space. We can reach more people in places that we could never even think of reaching them before. 1, because of costs, 2, because of logistics, 3, because it's just not profitable to do. A content-rich communication to the world about what makes Jamaica special. And who best to tell that story but some very hardcore, well-enabled, well-entrenched Jamaicans who have served Jamaica in many ways, different ways, in a very authentic way, tell their own story about why anybody should join them in Jamaica.
Every Jamaican has this passionate, loving story, and we want to capture that and share it with the world, because I believe the rest of the world could learn a little bit from Jamaica. One love.
Well, reggae music is important to our culture because it was made here back in the days by some great musicians. And it created big image all over the world. Where anywhere in the world you go, people always ask about Bob Marley, Peter Tosh, Tootsie Bert, Gregory Isaac, and Dennis Brown. So the importance of it is that it brings tourism to Jamaica, which make our tourism industry big. Reggae is important again because it creates employment for the musician to work in studio.
From discussions on a man intricately linked to his roots to the wonders of the value found in our roots, the Natural History Museum now unfolds the medicinal values found in our locally grown plants.
Necessity is the mother of invention, and we had to find a way to survive. And so for the plants, the natural gift of the Creator, we could rely on it to guide us into what we needed to do. I didn't know about Fenzik and your pharmaceutical things. I know about bush. So if I had a headache, I knew as a child that I should use the leaves of 3 mackerel bush and a piece of cloth and tie it on my head, and the pain would go.
The use of herbs as medicine. While this age-old practice has been overlooked by many, the Institute of Jamaica saw it fitting to mount an exhibition on medicinal plants of Jamaica and their uses, bringing to the present the medicinal habits used in the past.
So at least 330 plants have been found growing in Jamaica, have been identified as having medicinal value. Of that 334, at least 193 have been assessed for their biochemical activities, and 23 of those are actually endemic plants.
Not every plant, though in its natural form is good, is accessible to everybody. And knowing the information about the plant and wanting to get that into the hands of the people, some of our scientists have begun to study extensively some of these plants to see how they can be formulated in such a way so that they can be packaged and be accessible to the public.
You just don't wake up and say, Eureka, I have found it. They would have learned from the people in the community what plants were used for what purpose. So you know all those things in your childhood because they were continually using the plants of nature to assist in what they were doing.
Ever since I was a child, my mom always said, I'm going to break a piece of bush to make tea if the tea bag run out. But what was I getting out of it? I had no clue. And sometimes people say it worked, some other people say it didn't work. So that's why I really did the research to find out if these plants actually work. So we started only making butterbrush, which is also known as Callistemon viminalis. And then we broadened and we focused on lemongrass. We focused on most of the herbs that are used by native Jamaicans to cure different ailments.
In addition to the showcase, students from the Dunrobin, Chetola Park and the Rollington Town primary schools were scientists for a day as they participated in one of the institution's monthly and afternoon with a scientist sessions. Modeled around the Ministry of Education's academic calendar, The mandate of the program is to expose students to and encourage an appreciation for different disciplines of science through fun-filled scientific activities.
I've been promoting entrepreneurship, especially in the medicinal plant industry. So one of the things I do is to give back. So I volunteer even at my children's school. We have an entrepreneurial club where I teach them to make different products from plants.
I learned that they can use herbs to make soap. It was very exciting because I got to see what dangerous chemicals they use in it and how is it correct to go on the skin. First, we had to put some coconut oil in like a metal cup. Then we had to put shea butter in it and melt it. And then we put it in sodium hydroxide. And it was very, very, very hot. I spilled it a couple times, but it was okay, just a little clean up. And it began to get thick, so I was like, what should I do now? And she was like, just mix it, it's normal. And then we got to put what we want in there. I put charcoal in there, and then I made a swirl in the mold. It was a very good experience.
I'm so happy our students were able to participate in the activity held here at the Institute, where they learn more about medicinal plants. I believe it's very important for them to know that the plants that are found right there in their backyards can be used for healing of ailments that they'll have, the common cold, whatever the ailment may be.
This is what I would like to engage the people in. Go back to their communities and learn how people lived. A generation which came out of slavery could neither read nor write, and yet they were able to contain themselves and to live. We want the students to have some respect for the heritage of this country because it is going to guide you to the future.
The 6th of February, which is Bob Marley's earth-strong birthday. So naturally, the Bob Marley Museum, 56 Hope Road where we used to live, them having a big celebration. We are talking about booths, we are talking about artisans, we are talking about crafts, we are talking about entrepreneurs that go showcase them different things, them products. We are talking about a big concert, sound system a play, whole heap of tune a play, big concert from 3 to 10 in the night. A whole heap of artists. And as the earth a make a next turn, to we culture and we liberty, we press firm, press firm.
There's so much history in the walls, the mixing board, the drums, and, well, you get it. Just about any equipment at the Tough Gang studio. But that's all the time we have for you here on today's show. If you missed anything, you can catch it all again on our website or our YouTube channel. And don't forget to keep up with us via our Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter pages. And remember, let's all work together to achieve one love, one heart, and let's all get together and feel all right. On behalf of the entire production team, I'm Theodore Henry, and take care.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.